possible you may be feeling off energetically, mentally, or emotionally, because today is the eclipse. Can someone tell me exactly what time it's happening? It's after 2, isn't it?
Right at 2.
I saw on the TC and it said it begins at 12:44, but then a friend of mine said that it'll be at its peak at 2:03, so I don't know what to believe.
Okay.
I heard
That's correct.
11:55.
You're true. I heard a little after 2.
It'll be like 95%.
Can you keep going outside?
Yeah. Okay. You're front and center.
All right.
You don't have to be, but. So, with today being the eclipse, I've actually been kind of preparing people all weekend for today, and I'm pretty exhausted, but we're still gonna flow and move. I'm not gonna be as detailed as I was over the weekend, because Saturday it was a mini retreat, and it was our entire focus until the meal. And then yesterday I did a workshop here, and half of the workshop was geared towards the eclipse and doing a sacred ceremony with it. But basically, all I'm gonna say is eclipses, come about every 6 months, and sometimes the lunar eclipse comes before the solar eclipse. Other times the solar eclipse will come before the lunar eclipse. They're both very potent energies. And this one obviously is getting a lot of press because it's here over North America, but it's not the first one we've had. Like, we had the totality here in Nashville in 2017. There was another one that happened last year that we didn't get to see, but other parts of the United States got to see. And then this one, we're not quite totality, but we're fairly close. I think Paducah is probably the closest place to us. It's getting 100%. But in 2017, I took my son out of school. I did the first ever General Jackson because I wanted to be right in the middle of it. And so we took that General Jackson all the way to downtown Nashville, parked at the river, and then we got to see it with all the other masses of people. And it was pretty cool. This year, though, I am teaching these classes and I am rushing home, and I'm going to sit with my dogs. I'm not even going to go outside. I'm going to have my mala beads and I'm going to be meditating. I just want to be in a very pure, positive space for this one. Because even though the eclipses happen every 6 months, this one in particular is a special one. And the people who are the spiritualists that follow a lot of these things astrologically, they're all saying the same thing, that this one is a very important one because it's a choice point. 2024, it's said to be as big of a year as 2020 as far as shifts and changes and, things coming to the surface and things coming to light, and us questioning things and trying to figure out our truth in the midst of all the truths and untruths that are swimming around us. And it's a time where we become more intuitive. It's a time where we can receive some downloads. And my boyfriend hates that word. He was like, I am not a computer. Quit using that word. And I'm like, I just think it's a great word. And I look at it as a great word because if you look at the 1,000-petaled lotus flower that represents the crown chakra, the petals don't only go up, they go down. And so the idea of the download is the divine nectar. Maybe I should use that and see if he likes that better. Is the divine nectar seeping down into your chakra system? That's a little bit more woo-woo way of saying it. But regardless, we do get insights and we do get inspirations, and you may have things surfacing that are actually core wounds. And this is what's important about this one as well. We've been going through a lot of healing, personal healing, collective healings at a mass level. And that lunar eclipse we just had a couple weeks ago was already maybe stirring the pot and stirring up some emotions with that full moon. And the idea with the lunar eclipse is to notice, like, okay, what are your triggers? What's being emotionally stirred up right now? And can you figure out what that pinpoints to and work on trying to heal that or release that? And that release that was happening at the lunar eclipse is still occurring with the solar eclipse and the new moon. we often think new moon, new intentions. And you can have new intentions, however, we're still going through the release aspect. So maybe purging, releasing some things, maybe doing an Epsom salt bath tonight, maybe, it's not necessarily the best time to charge your crystals. With the eclipse, because the eclipse energy can be chaotic. So I would say don't charge the crystals during the eclipse. And make sure you're in a positive space. So if you're gonna go look at it, just be in a, I mean, it's kind of exciting to be able to witness that. So I don't see how you wouldn't be in a positive space, but try to be in a positive space because, again, all the spiritualist channelers, they're saying this is really a choice point. And the choice point is trying to help us to discover, are we in that low vibration of fear, or are we gonna choose the higher vibration of love and light? And we're trying to move in the trajectory of love and light that allows for peace and compassion and justice and equality and all the things. And the beauty of this particular eclipse is it is in the North Node, and the North Node is about where we're going. It is about the trajectory. And so I just see positive about it.
I look at what my animals
Yeah,
and the birds. It's really cool. I think it's like dull.
everything gets really quiet.
And the light is really beautiful. And because I was in Austin in the October one, the one that just happened in 2023.
Yeah.
And there were these little like slivers of moon on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm curious to see if that's
You
gonna
can
happen.
see that. I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
so it's just really cool. And so I'm excited to see if the same thing happens here. So
Someone else told me yesterday, and I don't know if this is, factual or if it would work, because she said a total eclipse and we're getting like what, 90% or something. But she said even laying a white sheet out and just watching what happens on the white sheet, she said, it's like ripples. I've never done it, so I don't know. But she was mentioning it's like ripples, like you would be seeing in the water.
Put it on a tree that's got leaves,
mhm.
because it's the little spots between the leaves,
Yeah.
it makes for a lens, like a pinhole camera.
Oh,
So if you
okay.
do it out on the sidewalk and there's no trees, you're gonna see a white sheet.
Yes, that's true.
Got it.
So-
Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, that was the missing piece, I guess. Perfect. Yeah, thank you. All right, so we're gonna be doing a practice today that's gonna be doing obviously sun salutations because it's a solar eclipse. But I'm also gonna be bringing in the moon poses because the moon is the shadow or creating the shadow. And then we're gonna go on our heads. We're gonna stay on our heads because this is working the core and dwelling place of the sun, head and dwelling place of the moon. So we're gonna do it all, and it'll be fun. And we're gonna try to work on balance. All right, so let's start with child's pose. You can be in child's pose, resting on the top portions of the feet, your shins. You're welcome to bow over your lap and just rest on your brow with your palms turned up as your feet. You're also welcome to provide a headrest by crossing the arms in front of you or coming into the extended version with the arms outstretched. And I just want you to take your time settling into this position and just assessing how you're feeling. Whether or not you're feeling tired. I know a lot of people had disruption of sleep over the weekend. And if that's the case, set the intention to allow this practice to recharge and energize your inner battery. At the same time, set your intention to honor what you're experiencing and feeling with each maneuver you make today, with each pose that we take. Choosing to do it or not. Choosing to modify or advance at your own will so that you're personalizing your practice. Now create that connection to your breath. And breathe in and out with depth and control. Once you create a rhythm to your breath, feel free to keep it quiet, subdued, like a diaphragmatic breath, or feel free to amp it up into the Ujjayi breath, where you can actually listen to the sound. And on your next inhale, stretch your arms out in front of you and spread out your hands. Lift your face up. Let your elbows lift away from the ground. And with that extension, as you rock up, you should notice your hands are slightly beyond your shoulders. Good position for down dog. So curl your toes under and then elevate your hips way up high. And let your head bow between your arms. Roll the shoulders away from your ears, but make sure after you do that, you're also plugging down the base of your thumb and index fingers. And that way it's honoring the spiraling action of the muscles that go from the outer shoulders to the inner elbow, from the inner elbow to the outer wrist, from the inner wrist to the outer elbow, from the outer elbow into the inner shoulder. The same thing happens at the legs. We're spiraling the thighs inward, which makes the heels slightly go outward, but we're keeping the heels hidden from our view. Let's go ahead and bend the left knee and press down through your right heel. Stay there. Bring in some circulation into the calf muscles. All right, second side, bend that right knee and really extend your left leg, pushing down through the left heel. Don't worry if it touches or not, that's not the point. All right, now let's pedal and walk the feet forward and up towards the top of the mat. The feet side by side, a little separation between the big toes, and fold over your legs. And since this is the first standing forward fold, you don't have to force the legs to be straight. I know some of you are learning some therapeutic ways to do Uttanasana with some other teachers, but please know those therapeutic ways are only when you're really having trouble with your SI joints. So it's fine to keep the legs extended and straight, to lift through the kneecap, to contract your quads when you're ready. On your next inhale, press down to the soles of the feet, sweep the arms to your sides and up overhead. Have your palms facing each other, your chin parallel to the earth, and then bring your hands down to prayer position at your heart. All right, we're gonna go right into sun salves. Inhale, let your arms circle wide and overhead. Now pause for a moment and feel that zipping in and up action at your belly, which happens naturally with the arms overhead. Really plug down through the soles of your feet and feel the ignition come up through your legs. All right, exhale, pour down to your Uttanasana. Inhale, slide your hands up, your shins. Lengthen out through the vertebrae, look out with your eyes, shoulders back from the ears, and exhale, lower back down and in. All right, inhale, we're stepping into plank. Now from your plank position, shoulders, elbows, wrists stacked, thighs plucking up towards the sky. So if your knees start to bend, you're probably dragging your hips. If you start to drag your hips or tuck your tailbone, you're gonna feel your low back. So thighs up. Good, now use your quads and core instead of rocking forward with your feet to see if you can shift slowly, shoulders past the wrist. Exhale, bend down to Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, fly the heart up, lift the pelvis off the floor, up dog, and then exhale, roll it back to down dog. Holding and breathing here. Setting your eyes at one place and keeping the eyes peeled open. Looking at things from a different vantage point. All right, on your next inhale, lift your left leg just halfway up. When you lift that leg halfway up, notice if you rocked your shoulders forward. Push your palms firmly into the floor, stretch up and down of your wrists, stretch long through your arms, keep your shoulders square and even, keep your hips square and even, and then take that left foot forward and up towards your hands. It doesn't have to be perfectly in between the hands. It can be somewhat shy of that, but you do want the foot flat. All right, spin down to your back heel, hands up, and let your trunk kind of turn towards the windows. So we're going into triangle pose. All right, fly the arms up shoulder height. Keep that front leg straight and push back into your hips. Good, when you stretch over the front leg, exhale, let your left hand fall to the shin bone. Let your right arm reach up. You guys are doing great with that top hand. Sometimes I'll see people in triangle pose and their whole hand is limp. But we're trying to direct the energy up to the pinnacle of the pose. It's like an antenna so that we can send a signal out and we can receive the signals coming in. Good, now glance down at your front foot. We're gonna move into our half moon. So if you bend the left knee, feel free to take your left hand on top of the block and you're gonna balance here. Try not to turn that front foot, toes facing the short edge side of the mat. Push out through your right heel, spread open through the right toes. Ardha Chandrasana half moon. All right, when you're ready, you're gonna bend the left knee, you're gonna drop the right foot, and you're coming back up to where we started. Awesome. Exhale, lunge the front knee, bring the hands down, spin off your back heel, left foot plank. All right, now, if you need to rock forward with your feet, that's fine. But see if you can zip up through the front side of your quads, zip through the abdomen, shift yourself forward, and then crank it down and hover and hold. Wait your inhale to lift you up. Pause here. Notice where your shoulders are. See if you can spread them wider. Yep. And then turn your heels in a little bit extra. Feel what happens in your buttocks. Good. Curl your toes. Now, draw in and back to the core. Look at your feet. If they got too wide, slim them up. Inhale, right leg lifts halfway. Push stronger into your hands. Push back away from your wrists. Square the shoulders, square the hips. So in other words, that right shoulder shouldn't be lifted any higher than your left. Same with the right hip. Even though the leg is up, the hip is no higher than the left. Good. When you're ready, bring that right foot forward. Let it come flat. Does not have to be all the way up between the hands. Plant your back foot. Come up to stand, turning towards the darkened wall. Arms lift. Keep the front leg straight as you stretch over. And then windmill down to your Trikonasana, your triangle pose. Now, you guys are doing great with this position. Feel the base at your feet. Feel that top of that triangle with your upper hands. But something I want to bring your attention to, if you want to work your core more, have your hand in front of your shin, because you'll have to kind of grip in your abdomen. Do you feel that? Mm-hmm. I don't know, it happens naturally for me. I'm just assuming it happens naturally for you. If you are the type of person with a lot of flexibility, where your hand is usually down here, you could even cup your hands and see if you can teeter down a little bit more. Don't force it though. It doesn't mean it's better. It just means you're ready for it, okay? Now, glance down at your right foot and then make sure the toes are turned, not in, but all the way facing the short edge side of the mat, so that when you bend the knee, the right hand can come forward to the outside of the pinky toe, or obviously onto that block. As you roll open to the left, and as you balance and breathe, see if you can sense and feel and experience the similarity between triangle, what you were just doing, and this pose that you're currently in. Let your left hand palm face this side wall. Good, and as you exhale, bend that right knee, drop that left foot, bring the arms outstretched, then bend the knee, come down into the lunge, spring that back foot forward, lift up halfway. Good, now your back should be straight here. So if you're propping onto your shins and you feel a roundedness in your upper back, you're not stretching through the sternum and your chest enough, or your thoracic spine enough. Perfect. 2 of you were doing it and you just corrected it. Awesome. Exhale, lower. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, that was our first sunset. Moving into the second, inhale, arms circle wide and overhead. Round those feet, reach up through the fingertips, and then exhale, swan dive forward and down. In an Ardha Uttanasana. Remember to get rid of any rounding to the back here. Exhale, release. Inhale to your plank. And see if you can use quads and quarter rock cord, if not, use your feet. Exhale, squeeze those elbows into your side ribs as you lower. Inhale, spread your shoulders, collarbones, turn your heels in, up dog. Exhale, roll it back to down dog. Be with your breath. Be in your body. All right, inhale. Let your right leg lift halfway. Exhale, swing that foot forward enough between your hands. This time we do want the foot more forward, okay? And then float your arms up. Bring yourself into crescent lunge. So we want the head stacked over the shoulders stacked over the hips. And then, as you're here, I want you to turn your pinkies in more and your thumbs out more and really feel like you're sprouting wings in your upper back. And then on the exhale, we're going to spread those wings, and we're going to spill down, hover over the front thigh, look at that front knee, make sure it's facing the center of your foot. Drop your arms, and now inhale, reach them forward, build right back up. And maybe see if you can slowly distribute a back bend. Notice you're probably going to feel your hips first. The hips are included in back bends, such as this. Exhale, hands down. Right foot plank. Exhale, do that more intricate work if you can. It'll tune you into more body awareness. Travel through the vinyasa. Meeting each other in downward facing dog. Closing any excess gap between the big toes so that you can balance better as you inhale, uplift your left leg. Swing that foot forward and up between the hands. Establish it. And then slowly come up. Crescent. And just check out your balance, because one side may feel sturdy, the other side may feel a little wonky or wobbly. Just embrace and harness the energy, do the best you can. Roll the pinkies in, thumbs out. Feel the difference in your shoulders. And then spread your wings. Come forward. Press down to all four corners of that front foot. Stabilize that front knee. Bring the arms down. And then carry them forward and up. And then slowly begin to distribute a back bend. Good, exhale, hands down. Bring that back foot forward. Lift up halfway. Exhale, release. Let your head go. Inhale, coming all the way up. Urdhva Hastasana and exhale, Samastitihi. All right, round 3. Inhale, arms circle wide and overhead. Exhale, fold down. Uttadasana. In and halfway lift. Out and humbly fold. Inhale, let's take our plank. Bone stacking through the arms. Rocking forward. Lowering Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Feet walking a little closer together. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, swing that foot forward and up. Spiral down to your back heel. Helicopter up. Warrior 2. All right, so just kind of glance down and make sure your knees aren't bending or folding in. The back leg's pushing back and the front thigh and hip is rolling open. And if you see that spreading out, you'll feel it as well. You're in the right stance. So just like we were mentioning, what are we aligning to? The lower vibration of fear or the higher vibration of love and light? That's why alignment is important when we're being active in yoga. All right, balancing pose here. We're going to drop the right arm, pop the right foot forward, stack and stand on the left leg, slightly turning the torso towards the windows. When you're ready, bend the left knee, drop the right foot, return to warrior 2. Now what may happen is you drop the back foot and you're leaning over the front thigh. So back up your waist, back up your ribs, back up your shoulders. Align with the integrity of this position. All right, exhale, windmill down. Spin off the back heel, plank. Take the vinyasa with mindfulness. Don't worry about your pace. Slow and steady wins the race. So we got 2 sides. Inhale, right leg lifts. Bring that foot forward. Turn and plant your back heel. Helicopter up. Warrior 2. And this pose that we're getting into, I have no idea what they call it. You know, it's one of these poses, like, I've been doing yoga for like 20 years, and this is like a newer one. So, I don't know who invented it, or if it's been around. I just didn't know about it. But it's hard for me in this pose with such a wide stance for the feet just to bounce into it, which is why I'm doing this little trick. Drop the arm, hop the foot forward. Now, the wall's in my way, but stretching out over. Good. Yes. It's almost like a no hand half moon. Good. When you're ready, bend that right knee, step that left foot back. Julie, I'm so glad you took the block because you were a good example. Then exhale, hands down, spin off your back heel. Left foot steps through to the front. From halfway up. Exhale, bow out. Inhaling up. Exhale, hands to heart. So keep going? Yep. Okay, take a break if you need to. Inhale, arms overhead. I know eclipse energy can do all kinds of things. Exhale, fold. In and halfway up. Out and lower. Into plank. Out to chaturanga. Into up dog. Out to down dog. So while you're here in downward facing dog, reclaim your breath and just consider how eclipses can bring shocking revelations, sudden endings, but also can be portals for opportunities and new beginnings. The cardinal signs are who's going to be affected the most. And I don't know all the cardinal signs, but I know Libra and Aries are two of them. I think Cancer may be a third. And if anybody knows the fourth, you can recite it out. If not, look it up. All right, inhale. Left leg's gonna lift halfway. Bring that foot forward and up between the hands. Offset your right foot, plant it down, and rise into Warrior One. So Warrior One, very similar to Crescent, but much more stability. And that back heel is all the way down. We're attempting to square the hips unless you have some SI joint issues or if that creates pain. And if the back foot is turned, you want to make sure the toes are turned in. So that way you're not going to torque your knee as you try to square the hips. Arms are going to reach up, your hands are going to link together to this mudra. And we're going to move into walking stick pose. Now, if you're doing this and you're like, this doesn't feel good to me, then just do regular Warrior One and Warrior Three with your hands apart. Thank you, Mary Beth. You can be that example. So when you're ready, we're going to shift forward, peel the back foot up, lean over, look straight down. The strength you're building in the standing leg. All right, bend that front knee. Back foot descends, you return to Warrior One, and then lean your head back, exalted. Hands release. Left foot plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Into your up dog. Out to your down. Right leg lifts. Step it all the way forward and up. Give yourself a helping hand if need be. Offset your left foot. Warrior One. Hands together or apart. Yogi's choice. When you're ready, Warrior Three or walking stick. The difference is the mudra and the back foot. Warrior Three, hands apart, back foot is flexed, you're pushing through the heel. Walking stick, you got the mudra, and the back foot is pointed. Then the front knee, lower the back leg, exalt your warrior. Exhale, hands down. Back foot through. Lift halfway. Exhale, lower. So eclipses are meant to bring us back into alignment to our soul contract, our soul's purpose. So if things are shaking you up or waking you up, just look at it being for good reason, for the greater good. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. Oh, I got one more left. This one's easier though. You're gonna like where we go. Inhale, arms circle up. Exhale, fold. In and halfway lift. Out and come back down. Into your plank. We're gonna meet in downward facing dog. So if you want to skip the vinyasa, meet us there. All right. So establish your feet the way you were earlier, but we're gonna do something different. Inhale, the left leg lifts. Except this time we're gonna keep lifting and pointing the foot. Keep lifting and pointing the foot. Notice when it scissors what happens in your hands. Notice what happens in your shoulders, what happens in your hips. Your left shoulder and left hip is lifting higher, is it not? Good, now go ahead and bend that top knee. And drop the head and look up underneath that left arm. Downward scorpion. Good, now unwind the hip. Bring that shin to the front. Lower it down behind your hands. And then slide your right leg back behind. Just glancing at the knee placements. And then Brenda's going to be the example here. There's always an alternative. You can flip to your back, left ankle over the knee. Or you can fold here. Either way, we're going to start stretching out that buttock, stretching out that piriformis, stretching into the hip. And I want you to consider eclipses bring change. And the hips and the lessons energetically and spiritually in the hip refer back to how well do we accept and navigate change. So if you feel a lot of resistance here, it could be things going on with your relationships. Obviously, past injuries could be resurfacing. But it could also be suppressed emotion. Or that resistance to change. Resistance to accept yourself and others and things as they are. Sit with this. Okay, slowly coming up. Put your hands in, plant them down. And if you're going to stay on your back, you can just stay while we go through the vinyasa. Curl the back toes and I'm actually not gonna take you through the yawn, so just go to down dog. We're gonna do the downward scorpion bits. So again, making sure your feet aren't too wide apart, it'll help you with balance. Lift your right leg up. And we're gonna keep sailing, keep sailing, keep sailing, so it's no longer halfway, we're no longer squaring the hips or shoulders, because you can't have square hips and shoulders for downward scorpion. So when you're ready, once you split the leg, then that top knee, look up underneath that right arm. If you're feeling a little tightness, a little like in the buttocks, we're about to stretch it out. Let's unroll. Swing that shin behind your hands. Slide your left leg back, then walk it down. So you know how, maybe you guys can help me, because you might know. You know, in Chinese medicine, they talk about certain emotions going with certain organs, like grief with lungs, fear with kidneys, anger with liver. And I know like the iliopsoas muscle ties in with trauma and emotion. But does anybody happen to know, is there an emotion attached to the piriformis? Shelley, do you know? I don't know. I want to find that out because mine are really hungry. They're so tight right now.
You know, this, my
Yeah. Maybe that'll be our lesson next week. I'll do some research. So it is important, like, just like I'm wanting to research that, I want to share that as an example because I want you to really be in your body and be contemplative. Where is pain showing up in your body? And wherever it's showing up, focus on that chakra, that energy field. Or look at maybe Chinese medicine to see what emotions go back with it. And it usually will equate right back to life. In fact, I shouldn't say usually, it always does. It's 100% for me. Couple more breaths. Inhale slowly, lift up. We're gonna lean onto the right hip and we're gonna bring the left leg in front. However, we're gonna swap the footing so the right foot is now in front of the left. Okay. We're Westerners, we're used to toilets instead of a hole in the ground, and we have furniture. We're not always sitting on the floor unless you're a yogi and you're doing this every day, right? So I don't expect you to do this, and please don't force your body to do this, but let's just give it a go. Is it possible for you to slip under, and this is important, go under the foot, the right foot? Can you bring it to your left upper thigh? If it doesn't want to go, yeah, don't force it. Just let it drop, okay? And then only if you can do this, slide your left foot out and notice your right knee may be hovering, but if you lean forward, it tips down. And then that gives you an opportunity to maybe go under the left foot and just see, does it naturally want to slide? If it doesn't naturally want to slide, don't do it. Okay. If you managed, can you flex your ankles and kind of lock it into place? Now, wherever you are, we're going to forward fold. So it doesn't matter if your legs are just in a natural crisscross position, or if one foot's in front of the other, or if you're actually in lotus. Okay, we're still getting a hip opener no matter what. But stay in the forward fold if you're not in the full lotus. If you are in the full lotus, you're going to back away. And as you come back to your seat, you're going to lift your knees and catch them. And then at the same time, instead of shrinking your chest, You're gonna lift your crown and lift your chest up. Yep. Now, with your knees up, bring your hands down, lean forward into your palms, and then see if you can lift your buttocks. Balance and breathe. Hip flexors, core muscles, upper body strength, and release. Okay. Everybody in the hip stretch, you're gonna come on. Everybody in lotus, you're gonna lean back and you're gonna release the feet. And then everybody stretch out the legs and just rotate your ankles. All right. Now for the fun. We're going upside down. Oh. The beautiful thing is, if you have neck trouble, if you have major fear or zero experience with this, you're gonna use that. Or you can just go sit legs at the wall and I won't say a word to you, okay? I'm gonna show you freestyle, but I'm not gonna ask you to freestyle unless you already know how to do it. So there was one more warm-up we were gonna do for this. Shoot, we need to do the warm-up. Stand up, everyone. We'll just go over time a little bit. It's not like there's no book today, there you go. Turn your feet out. Oh, turn sideways. So you guys turn this way and you guys turn this way. And then we're not gonna mirror each other, okay? So your feet turn out, bring your arms up, Da Vinci pose. And so I want you to also start paying attention to what feeling comes up in your body when you're doing certain poses. Like child's pose, what we first started with, it's very subdued, it's very calm, it's very inward, it's very gracious. It's a good one for grief even, like you just wanna like close off, right? But this one's expansive. This one's like exhilarating, right? And so think about maybe any mood that you're in and you're wanting to maybe either honor the mood or maybe you want to transmute the energy and change your mood, right? So start feeling that in your body so that if you need a personal practice, you can cater it to exactly your needs. All right, here's what we're going to do. Think about the circling effect of the sun, of the moon, of the planets, and the rotation around the sun, right? That's what we're going to try to mimic here. So the arms are going to go right, and you're going to lunge the right knee. You won't mirror each other if you're facing each other. And then you're going to skate over to the left as you lunge the left knee, and then bring the arms up overhead. And then take it back to the right, Skandasana to the right, Skandasana to the left, and then inhale up. Do it again. And now reverse it. Take it to the left, to the right, and at the bottom. And then consider how this is like mimicking the moon. And create that shadow. The sun. Good. Now bring your arms down, and you can sit down and watch. So if I were to keep you standing, right, we could go into this position, Prasarita Padottanasana. But if we're going to go upside down, the head, if the hands are here, the head needs to be here. Think about it, equilateral triangle. Think about a tripod. That's really important for this type of headstand. So if my head is too close to my hands, I'm not going to be able to balance very well. So the hands go back, the head comes forward, and then you start to lift the heels. That brings the hips a little bit higher over the shoulders, and then you're able to lift. Now, I'm not going to say up, because I got to speed this up. If you don't do a freestyle, guess what? We got a wall. So, I'm going to show you a couple different ways. One way would be roll up your sticky mat. The head would come closer to the wall, and your hands are back from the wall. And when I lift my heels, my back found the wall.
Now it feels, woo, safe. Come on up, you have support. And the main thing is our elbows are gonna wanna splay out, and we wanna keep the thumbs down, elbows in. And then you can try it. You don't have to go that fast, but then cautious coming up, because you got that wall there. Another thing you can try is blocks for supports. Who has 2 matching blocks? You can also try this, which is where your head comes between the blocks. The shoulders stack on the blocks. Your hands are wider to frame it. And then you could walk the feet out. You've got support on your shoulders, less weight in your head. And it's really nice. Now, I tried something yesterday because the studio where I was at had different blocks. They weren't the same brand. They were still thick blocks. But think about, like, if we were to look in the mirror and several of us were standing next to each other, we have different necks. I have a long neck. Some people have short necks. So that's where this works for me, but it might not work for you. So yesterday in the studio, the blocks weren't quite right. I still felt more weight on my head and I wanted more weight in my shoulders. So I actually turned the blocks like this. And that still worked because it's a thick block on another thick block, and that provided the stability. One more thing, and then you get to have fun. This yoga lift, no weight on the head, no worry about the neck, and it makes it easy. Now, you don't have to do the scissoring legs if you use this. You don't even have to do that if you're using the wall. You can go pike up or whatever. But here, the handlebars you're holding, your neck goes through the hole, your shoulders walk back, you feel the support, and then you can bounce up. And you can use the wall or point your toes and come away from the wall. And then that makes it more accessible.
What are the benefits of doing it that way or cradling?
It's just 2 different styles. Okay. So Shirshasana 1 is this version, and Shirshasana 2 is the tripod version. So evidently there's like 7 headstands. I've only ever seen 3. And I don't do the 3rd one because it looks too much for the cervical neck. And I've never researched 4, 5, 6, 7. I have no idea what they are. Because 1 and 2 is enough for me. Do you know? David, do you know? The other headstands?
Well, one is you're not using your arm, you're just totally.
You're just totally on your head. So, okay, so that's probably another one, right? Yeah, see, I don't do that. I have issues with, I have a misalignment in my neck. So I have to be cautious. I still do it. I've not been told not to do it. So I'm still inverting. I've never had an injury. It's just age, you know. My chiropractor said it could have been a roller coaster when you were little. It could have been a car accident you had in your 20s. Like, who knows what it was called from. But he still says it's fine for me to go upside down. So someone can use this setup here. And then if you want to work with someone else to grab more blocks, you can help each other. And if you want to leave it out altogether, which Mary Beth looks like she's gonna do, you can do another inversion. Don't feel pressure to do this. Sometimes when I'm taught a brand new pose, I take all the mental notes and then I go home. And I practice that at home.
I'll do that after you.
Okay. Is it a recent thing?
No.
Okay. And then you could also try the yoga lift too.
I've done it once, but no longer.
I'll talk you through, yeah. So to do this on your head, so right here. That's my finger.
So good for the board.
And it'd be right at the top of your head. And then just lift your shoulders back. Yes.
So.
And then if you lift your knees,
Same here.
separate your feet out.
Yeah.
Is it too much? Yeah, that's okay. Do this
Yeah.
one.
There's
There's
no
no pressure.
But maybe if we had like
One more block. And there are things. I might try, I'm gonna try this one since you've had an injury.
Yeah.
Because that is truly like the safest way.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, nothing of the neck. You just get support here with the padding. Okay, take your head all the way to the back. And then you'll lift right up too. Okay. Awesome, Jim. Yeah. You're welcome to use this.
This thing's awesome.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, there's a little bit of
It's so good for your core.
Great for us. It's good. Brian, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. You can do this. That's like that's the head crutch, the tripod. Great. And then there you go. I like this. Shoulders to the no wall.
They're coming down, that's the hard part.
And that just positions your neck right. Because your shoulders and your neck will pull up. No, I'll tell you why. Just on your head. Like this? Yes. Really?
Just on your head.
I have.
Like this?
Yeah.
Okay, now?
Head and I'll put it down.
I wanna see that.
I just came.
Guys.
I'm proud of him. All right, let's calm it back down. If you have legs up the wall, you can stay for Shavasana. That was our like. Major pose there.
I would say there were a series of things.
Yes, there was today. Someone said I answered it. They're like, oh, that wasn't the only one. Right. So I was telling Margaret. I'm kind of hoping Gentle comes in and they're wanting to restore. Because I'll be all in for that today. Let's get relaxed. You can lay flat on your back. And of course, you can use a bolster underneath your legs or underneath your spine if you want something restorative. I'm going to share with you some affirmations that I created for the lunar eclipse. And it's about releasing. We're going to work up through the chakras. And then I'm going to end with affirmations for a personal and collective intention for this new moon eclipse. So just settle down into your body. This eclipse is in Aries. Aries is a fire sign. It's the warrior energy. It's the independence, pioneering, trailblazing energy. It's about initiating upstarts, strength, courage, and confidence. And the Aries is about the I am. The I am is what we're using with affirmations. Focus down in your root chakra from your pelvic floor down to the soles of the feet. And affirm, I am letting go of any fears or blockages that hold me back from my highest potential and purpose. I'm letting go of any fears or blockages that hold me back from my highest potential and purpose. And affirm it with the root chakra. I love my body. I love my life. Bringing your attention now to the second chakra, the hips, the low belly, low back. And affirm, I release any and all resistance to change. And I ground and align within myself so that I can naturally align to the flow of life. I release any and all resistance to change. And as I ground and align with myself, I naturally align to the flow of life. Bringing your attention to the third chakra, the upper belly, the mid-back. I choose to step into my power, and I call any fragmented pieces back home to me now. I am empowered. And for the fourth chakra, which governs the heart, chest, the lungs, the upper back, shoulders, the arms, the hands. And affirm, I am committed to the love and light that I hold within my heart. I know that I am loved by the divine, and I was made by love, for love, to love. Love is the way. I'm committed to the love and light I hold within my heart. I know I am loved by the divine. Love is the way. Bringing your attention to the throat center, to the neck area, the fifth chakra, affirming, I am aligned to my divine truth and divine design. I step into integrity and capable of speaking my truth. I am aligned to my divine truth and divine design and capable of speaking my truth. Bring your attention to your face, to your brow, to your third eye center. Affirming, I am awakening and remembering the intuitive powers I hold within. And I trust the visions and insight and clarity that I receive. I am awakening and remembering the intuitive powers that I hold within. And I trust the visions, insights, and clarity that I receive. Now up to the crown of the head. Affirming, I am connected to everyone and everything. I trust the divine downloads and follow its lead. I am connected to everyone and everything. I trust divine downloads and follow what I receive. Deepening the flow of your breath. Activating some movement in your hands and feet. Exit the pose that you chose, taking your time and forming a comfortable seat. Up, your eyes closed. The light and love that I hold within my heart bows in reverence and respect to the love and the light you hold within you. Namaste. Showing up today. And be watchful. The triggers of the effect that this energy is having on you, and try to align as best you can. I didn't talk too much about all the other astrology happening, but there is Mercury in retrograde still going on. And Aries is that, kind of go energy. So even though the eclipse is in Aries, it's still Mercury retrograde. So it's a time to get really clear about the direction or the acts you want to do before you just jump into it. And then there's this transit happening between Uranus and Jupiter on 4/20. And Uranus is about awakenings and shocks. And Jupiter is a planet of growth, expansion, abundance. And so I was listening to this astrologer, and she was like, don't know where this is going, but she goes, when you think all hope is lost, you strike gold. And I thought that was such a positive way of looking at it, because no matter what shakeups and wake ups we receive, keep trusting it's all in divine order and plan. It's all working out for the greater good. It's taking us into a trajectory of something better. We're here for a purpose, for a reason, and just fighting a good battle. It's like Star Wars. You want to be the Jedi, or do you want to be on the good side or the bad side, right? Be the Jedi. So I don't know if you've ever studied a little bit more. I was really into Star Wars, but then my son really got into Star Wars. And did you know the lightsabers light up because of crystals? And did you know the Jedi would meditate? So there you go. Be the Jedi.